I love that with getting permission. And so kind of talk us through what that does for the communication that's going on. I mean, you touched on it just a little bit, but I want people to really understand how important this is, because, one of the things from like, even from leadership conversations and, open and real conversation, kind candor, whatever you want it to, whatever label you give it. We had a great mentor of ours, how they would approach a difficult conversation that they need to have. They called it, hey, can we have a buckle up? We need to buckle up. Can we have a buckle up conversation? But I think this is really important for people to get, because most people just come at them, because I've seen this used as a weapon. And, one of the core values was open and real communication. And what would happen in the scenario is that somebody would just attack another person, and they would say, well, hey, man, I'm just being open and real. It's like, no, you're not. You're being a douchebag. Like, step back for a second and, always get permission and declare maybe what kind of conversation. So I would love for you to kind of expand and maybe unpack that for everybody, because it's really, really powerful in our communication.
Great. I call it like a buffering play. All right. Someone throws up an objection. We all face objections. I'll give you a good one. I get someone turn around to me saying, Jamie, I love it. I love your training. I know it can help me. I'm not going to do it right now. All right. That's what they say. Right. And then I'm going to say these words on purpose. All right. Now I've got to a place where it's not about being smooth, and it's not gift of the gab. All right. You guys literally could take word for word what I'm about to say, make it your own. Or yes, you could use the same words in this scenario. But understand, when I share these words, you share these words, you're giving your brain a chance to process your thoughts. So you don't just go, he did it, no, you did it, no, he did it, no, you did it. All right. Someone says something I don't agree with. Jamie, I love your training. I'm just not going to do it right now. First thing I'm going to do is absorb it. I'm not going to agree with them. I'm not going to disagree with them. I'm not going to say the word but. I'm not going to use the amateur question. Well, when are you going to do this then? All right. Because that's what an amateur would do. When are you going to do it? Oh, 2 months. You're like, well, all right. You're thinking in your head, what's going to change? Here's where I go with this. I'm like, I call it now the Viviana play, because she was the most recent student that I did this with. She goes, Jamie, I love your training. I know it can help me. I believe in it. I'm going to wait till later. I said, Viviana, look, I get it. I can see where that can be a thought process right now. There's something around this I've not had a chance to share with you yet. Is it okay if I share something with you? So I'll repeat that again, John, for people. All right. I get it. I'm not agreeing. I'm just saying I get it. I'm absorbing. I get it. I can see where that could be your thought process at this moment in time. There is something I've not had a chance to share yet. Maybe during the podcast, I'll teach about the word yet. There's not something I've had a chance to share yet. Is it okay if I share something with you? They say yes. But then I'm going to go to question mode. Hey, share with me some. I'm not going to tell them. What do you mean? Here's what amateur. What do you mean you're going to wait? Successful people don't wait. All right. Like, that would be amateur. Or asking them a question that's broad-based. If you say, when do successful people take action? Your person in front of you tells you a lot if they answer with the word, when they're comfortable. They're telling me, yeah, we're not going to be a good fit. But I ask them the question, when do successful people take action? It's if they say when they're comfortable, we're at loss. Watch this. I turn around to them. This is what's going to give your audience ability to sleep peacefully at night, hopefully too. Viviana, I go, hey, tell me someone, Viviana, that you admire that I would have heard of. And she goes, Kobe Bryant. I said, perfect. I love Kobe Bryant. That's awesome. Have you ever read the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? She goes, I haven't read it. I've heard of it. I said, it's fine. I said, in that book, it shares this principle. It says, don't reinvent the wheel. It said, go out there, find people that you admire, all right, success-wise. And if you copy their values and habits, then you're more likely to have similar success. Does that make sense to you? She goes, it makes absolutely logical sense. I'm like, great. Now, Viviana, imagine Kobe Bryant stood in front of me, telling me everything that you just told me. Jamie, I love it. I value it. I believe in it. All right, could you ever imagine him next saying, I'll wait till later to do it? She goes, probably not. I said, okay, when should you be doing it? She goes, right now. And I say, I agree with you. All right, those words, the I agree with you. Now, we kind of
Threw it out there. We didn't explain it. Yeah.
The idea is it's more sophisticated not to tell someone to do something and better off to get them to a place where it's their idea. And you're like, now, here's what happens. She goes, I'll go and grab my card. All right. I'm like, great. If she doesn't go and grab her card, let's say the person doesn't go and grab their card. All it's telling me is this. I get to sleep very peacefully that night. Why? Because she told me who she admires. I didn't tell her who she should admire. And she agreed with the principle that that person, if they're in front of me, wouldn't say they'll wait till later. So if they don't take the action of someone they admire, they have to have struggle sleeping at night, looking in a mirror, knowing they're not doing what's conducive to who they admire, all right, based on the wording that they've shared with me. And so as an example, John, hopefully people can see that it's the buffer play of the I get it first. You know, I'm going to do it later. First words, I get it. I can see where that could be a thought process. Someone says, I can't afford, like, you know what, Jamie, I want it. I've got a mental block on spending that money. I get it. I can see where that's a thought process. There's something around this I haven't had a chance to share with you yet. Is it okay if I share something with you? Yes. Hey, did you go to college? Yeah, I did. Okay, would you agree? Most of my clients, they agree. The stuff I teach, it wasn't taught in a college classroom. Would you agree with that? Absolutely, I would. I said, would you say the stuff that I'm going to teach you is more valuable for what you're looking to do in life than what you learned in college? I'd agree with that. Okay, so when I put it that way, can we say it's a very sensible investment? Jamie, when you put it that way, you're right. It's a sensible investment. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying we force round pegs into square holes and we've got to do things ethically. If someone ever approached me and said, teach me how to manipulate people, I'd be like, we are not a fit. We're not going to be a fit. But thankfully, most of the people that I work with, they're doing things from an ethical standpoint. They're providing a legitimate service. I'm just helping them with what comes out your mouth to get to a place so that you're not reacting. You're more proactive in the sequence, to use a word, coin a term that you use, John. Like it's just a sequence of conversation that if you have it in that order, you're more likely to get predictable outcomes for yourself.
I love it. I love it. And you know, that's kind of where my mind was going as you were kind of walking through it. And because I could see where some people would lean, oh, that's, you know, they're manipulating and, you know, they're getting people to do what they probably shouldn't be doing. But when
there is one caveat that I didn't get a chance to share. All right. I could, funny enough, practical. Is it okay if I share something with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. I just shared what I do when a rejection comes my way. So I either go with multiple choice, story time, but it's always buffered with the I get it. I can see where that can be a thought process. There's something I'm not had a chance to share yet. What your audience might not have picked up on it, for instance, with the Viviana play, I've already asked her, what benefits will you get from being better in communication? She shared with me. How would you feel as a result of doing that? What kind of value do you place in this stuff? Very high. And she's answering me in questions. And then I'm asking her, do you actually believe I can help you factually? Yes. These are all words that are coming out of their mouth, right? So your audience, when they watch it, you can't, the idea is to ask them. I believe it's more manipulative if I tell someone to do something they don't want to do and get them to do it, or I just tell people to do it, and it's just not sophisticated, telling someone. My belief is, am I manipulating? If I'm a realtor and I'm going to a listing presentation, am I being manipulative if I can actually get the house sold? But instead of going in there saying, let me tell you everything I can do for you, I'm asking you, what do you look for in a realtor that you would value more than anything in the world? And now they're telling me, and I just happen to be someone that actually ethically can provide that service for them. I don't believe that's, the fact we've been using the negative connotation of the word manipulation is just to express to the audience that if you're finding out what someone wants and you can provide it, can we agree that's ethical?
Yeah.
All right. And yes. Okay, yeah. Great. So hopefully,
absolutely.
We're never going to resonate with 10 out of 10 people, John. My goal is, if someone is only bringing on 1 out of 10, can I help them to do 3 out of 10? A big part that we haven't talked about yet, which I don't know if we will or won't, is conscious communication. It actually ends up becoming more, how do we talk to ourselves is more critical than how we actually engage with somebody else. And
I definitely want to go there for sure. I said, I definitely want to go there.
Okay. Sure. But the idea is what, why, how is the best way to get someone to an emotional state, John. But just to give you a credence, the objection, overcoming an objection, is only easy to do or easier to do based on the information you've already gathered from someone that they already want your help. You're not just so hopefully that.
You know, it does. I didn't see any manipulation in there at all, but I could see where somebody without understanding, you know, the process, and you're asking, and do you believe that you have a viable ethical solution to help them solve their problem? I think that's the other thing. And so that's where I love kind of what you just said, just transition. And it's the thing, right? Like, I don't believe that you can lead another human until you can lead yourself first. And there's
scary individuals out there that know how to do what's called NLP, John. I don't teach NLP at any mastery level. There's a couple of things that I illustrate in that arena. I stay away from that purely because I don't want to become that person. The idea is there has to be content that actually helps another individual. I'm sure you've got testimony. I know for a fact you've got testimony after testimony because I've met them. All right. And we talked about very highly, John, from the Michael Colliers of the world and the Jacob Barnhills. Like, nothing happens by accident. All right. I don't look to bring on every client on the planet, John. I just look to hold to be, whether it's virtually holding someone's hand or in person holding someone's hand. But the things that I share have to resonate from an ethical standpoint, and they have to understand you're going to get objections. It's how do you overcome that objection? And using the buffer play that we talked about gives them, your brain, a chance to process something rather than shooting from the hip, which is what most people do. But before that comes the building of rapport and evoking of emotion. How do you evoke emotion? You just ask someone, why do they want what it is that they told you that they want? So amateur realtor, what are you looking for in maybe I'm using the wrong example. We're always using realtors. It just so happens, John, that I know we work with realtors. So it just seems like an easy go-to. A realtor get asked, do you have any 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes in this zip code? And here's what a realtor will do. So I know what you want. Yep, I'm going to send you everything in the MLS that fits that model. Right? You've made it too logical. And when we everyone on the planet, including anyone who watches this, and I don't care who you are, what you think about yourself, we all do things on emotions. If I was to share something that I would actually debate about, we all do something on emotions first, and then we justify it with logic after the fact. If I ask most people in your audience, do you have more shoes in your closet than what you need? You're going to answer yes. All right. We don't do in life what we need to do. We do in life what we want to do. Everyone needs to go to a gym. They won't. Every parent on the planet, in my opinion, needs to have life insurance. They don't. All right. We do what we want. People always find a way. We're resourceful to do what we want to do from that standpoint. So with regards to communication, you know, ask someone, what do you want? I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, you don't have any kids, you're not married. No. Okay. Hey, why the 3 bedrooms? Oh, my brother comes to visit me sometimes from so-and-so, and I've got a pet parrot and it can't be in the same part of the house as a dog. Now I'm listening and I'm saying, now when I show them around the home, I've elevated the emotion. Hey, do you think that your brother would like this room? Oh, Jamie, you actually pay attention to the things that are important to me rather than making it logical. And again, John, you know, it's interesting. And to practice what I preach, there's no such thing as perfect. We've been at it 34 minutes and 12 seconds. And the truth of the matter is, it's not like one of my speaking engagements where it's methodical from start to finish. All right. I'm throwing a lot of stuff out there. And the idea is, if you were me and invited by John, would I be accurate? And look, I posed the question, would I be accurate to think you'd want to deliver a lot of value and deliver a lot of moments? Okay. Can you see where my thought is? Maybe people have to play this back to be like, what did he actually put down there? Because that was interesting. All right. Maybe I need to play it back. And that might be your case. Just know, guys, that you're watching this. My goal is just to provide tons of value. It can come quick and fast during this. And I feel like that's what's happening a tiny bit, John. And that's just as a conscious communication play. What's happened? I'm like, Jamie, you're teaching so many concepts, it might seem like overwhelm. So just get some buy-in from the audience that, because can you understand, John, not everyone has your experience in life to have spoken in rooms. You might get someone watching this who's a complete novice starting out. All right. And so it's like grasp that process.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's I've been writing down minutes to go back and re-listen to.
I have seen you taking. I'm like, is he taking notes during this, like where he's actually like, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So transition this a little bit to the communication with ourselves.
Right.
I just think, even personal experience, sometimes we can be hard on ourselves. And, I had my coach on the podcast last week, and, we talked about a lot about communication. We talked about, dialogue theory. We talked about emotion. We talked a lot about those things. And, understanding really getting to happiness, and it really has to start with ourselves. And so, I love your take on that, and how we can better communicate with ourselves.